Welcome to the Friday Night Hangout Season 7. Yay! I am your host, Joy Onyeso. The Friday Night Hangout is a community committed to safe space and network. Welcome to the Friday Night Hangout Season 7. Yay! I am your host, Joy Onyeso. The Friday Night Hangout is a community committed to safe space and networking. Here you have strategies, tools, and life stories that will help you play full out and be the best version of you. You will build and strengthen the skills needed to live a life of abundance in your personal, business, and professional lives. If you want to change the results you've been getting over the years, you have to change the way you do things. And in this season, I am giving you that opportunity to learn new strategies and skills. We have amazing content that will help in repositioning you for growth. I invite you to come fully present and engage this season. Also invite your family, friends, colleagues, and loved ones. I look forward to engaging with you every Friday night, 7 p.m. West African time, live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and I ask you to make it a date with me. You wouldn't regret being part of this tribe. As always, I love, honor, and celebrate you. Good evening, good evening. Welcome to another interesting, exciting episode of the Friday Night Hangout. And I'm your host, Joy Onyeso. In this month of September, we will be having conversations on business systems and tools. And so tonight, we're going to be looking at how to systemize um, processes in your business to give you that opportunity for expansion, for growth, and to create more time for you to do all the stuff. So, if this is your first time of joining us, I'm saying a very big welcome to you. Welcome to the Friday Night Hangout Tribe. This is that safe space where we learn together, have fun together, and also explore and reflect on contemporary issues, and we also co-create solutions here. So this is that safe space where you can just be all that you are meant to be. So very big welcome to you. And I appreciate you for joining in. I want to see your thank God this Friday. I see you, Sarah. I see you, DJ Floxy. I see you, Iroma Eunice. I see you, Rosemary. Thank God it's Friday. I'm so happy that you're here with us. I want to see your TGIF, and let me know where you're joining in from. Thank you. So excited to have you all in here. Okay, I see Queen in. Welcome. And today, I also must apologize for last week. Last week it was an issue because I was on transit and I could just a minute, please. Could you help me shut that door, please? Last week I was on transit. Long story. When Nigeria happens, the flight gets moved. You can't come in, and then the internet decided to act up, and so we couldn't upload the recordings that I did. But not to worry, we're here tonight, and we're going to try to make up for the lost times. And tonight, I'm also going to do what I promised to do last week. So at some point in the show, I'm going to pick up a random participant here, and you have to indicate anyway when I put out the call, and then we pick up a random person and look at some of the process issues you're having in your business, and we collaboratively look at ways of systemizing that, just to give you a hands-on feel of the steps you can use in developing a business system, right? So sometimes when we talk about all of this, it looks like Greek, it looks very difficult. It just needs a little bit of thinking through, really identifying what the issues and all of that. But then I want to know where you're joining me from. I see you, DJ Princess. Thank you so much for coming in. All right, I'm trying to connect to my other phone. I'm having issues with network. Let's see. Just a second. I'm trying to, because for some reason I can't see everyone. So please do forgive me. It's raining heavily right now, and it's affecting my internet. So do forgive me if I don't call your name. I'm not ignoring you by any chance. It's just that I can't readily see your comments now. But not to worry, I'll get to see it much later and then I'll respond. Okay, so good to see you all. And tonight we're going to focus on what can we systemize in our business. So if you're an entrepreneur here or you know any entrepreneur, please call them in. This is that time where we're going to have interesting conversations. And this is very timely. This conversation is timely because, we're in that part of the year. In Nigeria, we know when it gets into the ember month, and globally as well, businesses begin to pick up, people start getting ready, positioning their business for the end of year sales that will happen. No matter how bad the economy is, sales would happen. So I want you to just believe that sales will happen because it does happen. And sales, are going to happen. And you need to be positioned and ready to receive and ready to execute. And that will require some systems to make sure that you don't drop customers' order, you don't mix up orders. So these are some of the things, processes you can look at to systemize within your business. So I just want you to be thinking through about some of the challenges that you may have in terms of difficulties, things that happen regularly, and the ones that you don't have core competence in. So the quick thing I would like to put out here is that the first thing for creating a system is you need to identify processes that happen regularly. What are the things you do as a business regularly? One of those things that we can do, with most businesses do, is invoicing. So if you're a business owner, most often you'll be doing one invoicing order or the other. You have to invoice, right? Even though I recognize that some small business owners will not even invoice, we just say the price collect. But if you want to grow your business, you need to practice the act of invoicing. You need to really practice the acts of invoicing. It's part of the documentation process. And then the other thing you need to identify as well is the issues that take a lot of time for you to achieve. So you don't just want to systemize everything, because Prof. Joyce says we can systemize everything. You want to systemize everything. Look at issues that happen regularly, issues that take a lot of your time to accomplish. So those are the kind of issues, those are the kind of processes you would want to systemize. Then you also need to look at the processes that frustrate you. Maybe because it takes a lot of time, maybe because it requires a lot of competence to do. This causes you a level of frustration. So you would want to look at ways of improving your achieving that task. And then finally, the fourth thing as well we want to look at is issues that are, you need to identify issues that are within your competence area. And I say this because most of us entrepreneurs, we want to be a jack of all trades. You want to do everything. You want to, and it's very common with small businesses. You want to be at the admin, you want to be the finance person, you want to be the CEO. All of these offices have their own responsibilities, and it's not possible for you to function in all of this role effectively. The ball must drop. So if you're thinking about growth, then there are some basic things you need to outsource, or you need to get someone on your team to support you. Even if it's someone working remotely, even if it's someone working on a contract basis, what this does that it frees up your time for you to do what you love to do, be the CEO and work on your business, right? So these are very key things that you want to identify before you now start talking about, excuse me, please, systemizing your processes. So I would just say that I would once again just say that let's look at system for today as a sophisticated process, a sophisticated way of doing things, different steps that needs to be done in any activity or to get a task done. So you could also call a system a sophisticated process, right? Now, one of the key things we need to do when we look at creating systems is you must be very clear as to what the process entails. If you do not have an understanding of what the process entails or the steps required to carry out that task, it is very difficult to systemize it. Because what we want to do is to try to automate it, to make it seamless, to make it easier for that function to happen. And then for you to do that, you need to be very clear as to what it really looks like. So the first thing I would say is, for the process you want to systemize, spend time in really documenting what it looks like. For instance, if we look at, let me just pick up one random thing. For instance, if we look at hiring, you want to hire a new staff, what would that look like? Now, at the point where you identify the need to hire someone, it could be that there is a gap in process, there could be a gap in capacity, so you need to bring someone on board. How then do you make this so that it is a consistent process and it is a well thought out process that would not stretch you to different levels? I have gone through this process several that right now, even with my eyes closed, I can recruit. So we have templates for basically everything right now. So it makes it easier. What we just do is we take it out, we rinse it, tweak it, and then we put it out again. And then, we're good to go. So what would be the steps required for you to hire a new staff member? Now it depends on the business. So it depends on the size of the business and the business. So some of the steps that would be required would be: one, to identify the gap that exists; two, the capacity that is required to fill that space; the job description of the person you would be bringing on board. One of the other um, things that we do as small business owners, I want to point out here, is that oftentimes we do sentimental hiring. So you hire a team member or a staff, and then you start figuring out what the person will be doing for you in that organization. It's bound to crash. So you might find out that you have hired someone who do not have the requisite skill set to function in that capacity. So you now, from the word go, you're struggling. I made that mistake. So I'm saying this out of experience. Previously, when I want to hire, is someone say, "Oh, I have this sister, I have this brother is looking for a job. Can you employ us?" "Oh, sure, bring. We have a space." And then you take the person in, and you want to kill yourself trying to train someone who doesn't fit into that space. So for a very long time now, we've just jettisoned that process. So being very clear to the job description of who you want to bring on board, it's very important before you even bring the person on board. And then how then do you get the job description? So it comes from different processes, but within my own organization, what I do is to look at team members. You're struggling in this area, what would help? This comes out through maybe our periodic meetings, our appraisal processes, to look at, because even when you're the CEO, one of the functions you have to do is also to watch out for your team members so no one gets burnt out. Because it's very easy to, because someone is capable, someone knows how to do something, you want to kill the person with job, and the person is always working 247. So it's also important that you watch out for that individual within your organization and try to lessen their burden. One of the things by doing is by hiring someone else and looking at all the gaps and all the struggles. You can now put together a job description and be very detailed as to the kind of person you want. What kind of person do you want? Male, female, you don't care or you don't mind, that's fine. But very detailed. What kind of attitude do you want the person to have? When you're very, very specific, it helps the hiring process. Now, when you have all of this in place, you spend time. If you're the one that is going to conduct the recruitment exercise yourself, of course you're going to need support, because from start to finish it'll be difficult for you to do that and do that very objectively. You might find your emotions creeping in, and that's why I wouldn't recommend anyone to conduct a recruitment exercise alone. There has to be some balance there. Otherwise, the person comes in crying, you feel sorry, you hire the person, and what happens at the end of the day? You find out the person is not the right fit. So have 2-3 person support, even if it's friends or colleagues, to say, "Oh, I'm hiring. Could you join me in, interviewing?" And then you have a process for making sure that there is a standardized way of rating the different applicants. So if you've listened to what I've said, you see there are different things that needs to happen. The job description needs to be there. There needs to be a rating schedule for the applicant. There needs to be the application that goes out. There needs to be someone who receives all the application, collates them, and then sieve them, because you wouldn't call everyone to an interview. You need to look at, okay, who among the applicants have the prerequisite skills we're looking for. Okay, you now identify them and look at ways of bringing them on board. So it's a whole lot, and it's easy to drop all of this, and this is where systems become important. So the first step is to document this. Write it down. Some of us carry a lot of things in our head, and if by chance something happens to you, either you're sick or you travel or something happens that you're not able to show up, your business will crumble. If you have team members, they will be lost. They will not know what to do without you. And this is where systems come into place. This is where documenting those systems becomes very, very helpful. So document all of this. When you document all of this, what do we want to achieve? We want to achieve a seamless flow. We want to also achieve the automation of the process, so that they move from one step to the other step seamlessly. So you're not pulling yourself in all directions to get things done. You already know who is supposed to do what. Be very clear about that. Who drafts the job description? Who approves the drafted job description? Who is responsible for putting out the call for application? Who receives, collates, saves, and then sends out information to the applicants, inviting them for an interview? Who sets up the interview? Is it a in-person interview? Is it a virtual interview? All of this is need to be well described. And so once you have all these things done, there are templates. The next thing is to create the templates and the framework for these things to happen, so that at every point in time, you're not recreating it afresh. It's seamless. For instance, today we needed to, in one of the organizations that I run, we have a need to hire a programs person. And all I just did was reach out to the other sister organization that I also had to say, can you give me, because this one is relatively new one. I said, okay, I'm trying to create system from this. I don't want to start afresh. Please give me what we are using there. And it's so simple. And in less than 15 minutes, we had done everything together, and we're good to go. That's what system does for you, and the process will just be running through. So I want you to really think through about what you do in your business. How can you benefit from putting a system in place? So a system doesn't necessarily, when we talk about systems, some of us might start thinking abstract. Maybe I'm talking about only an app or something. No, it's about a process that is very organized and flows, so that it's just easy to move from one step to the other step. It's so easy. You don't have to second guess what the next step would look like. So do you have that in place? So if you don't, I would ask you to take this time out to do that. Like I said, the first thing is really think through. Be very clear to what your process looks like. And so for anyone that is on this show tonight and is willing for us to use the person as a case study, because we're all going to do it together. It's so much fun. We could just spend some few minutes doing that. If you're interested in if you're now, please do forgive me, I can't see all the comments, but I will try to call out those I can see here. I just need to pick out one person, and so I will pick out the first person I see here. So if you're interested um in me using your business as a case study for tonight, just put it out there, say yes, and I will pick you up. While waiting for that to happen, we'll take our ads, and we'll be right back. Just stay tuned. Don't go away. But it's getting more interesting, right? Stay tuned while we take our ads. And when we come back from that, we would now um, run a very real life concrete example. Okay, so while I'm waiting for my team member to put up the ad, let me see if anyone has put up. Don't be shy. These are safe space. This is free. This is free consultation. So make use of it. Make use of it. If you're an entrepreneur here, you're thinking about ways to develop system in a particular area, this is your time. Make use of it and just drop a yes in the box, and we would we will try and work something out tonight. If you also have questions, this is a very interactive program. If you have questions, if there are any questions you have from previous conversation or from the conversation we've had tonight, please put it out in the chat box, and I would see it, and I would take your question. Let me see. Vivian says good evening. Princess says good evening, Mama. Good to see you tonight. Welcome. If this is your first time of joining us on the Friday night hangout, welcome. The conversation is still on. Tonight we're talking about business systems, how business systems can help us to grow by creating time for us to do other stuff within the business. It also helps to create consistency within the business. So if you have any question at all, thinking about some of the challenges you have in your business and you want to ask a question, please, this is the time to do that. You can use your chat box, and you can be sure that I'm still trying to get this my other device up to see if I can get more. I can, because I can't see everyone on this, so that's the challenge with this. Let me see if I can get. So welcome, 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 welcome. I'm waiting for the ads to go up. But while I'm waiting for the ads to go up, I'm also looking out for your comments and trying to sort out my device. I think it's the rain. The rain is affecting my network with this other device. So it's. When I look at my life today, all the places I travel to, the number of people I'm able to touch their lives, and all the things I can afford, it just literally blows my mind. This hasn't always been my life. There was a time in my life when I was so confused, stressed, uncertain, and this is why I'm so passionate about the She Space Masterclass 2022, because I designed it with that someone who is going to come into the masterclass feeling anxious, overwhelmed, uncertain, self-sabotaging, wondering what really is her purpose in life. And I'm here to assure you that come empty, I'm ready to fill you up. I'm going to use my skills, my experiences, and the grace of God to help you understand that you are a woman and much more. Look at the information on the screen to get more details as to how you can register for the She Speaks Masterclass with you. Your investment fee covers your buffet meals, some resources you'll be getting such as gratitude tools, personal evaluation tools, steps on how to start a business. This is one masterclass you don't want to miss. This is your season, this is your time to know that you are a woman and much more. Do not allow barriers to limit you or to restrict you. You have all it takes to call forth those dreams you have inside.
Power Women Magazine.
Okay, welcome back. And that was that advert is a She Speaks Masterclass happening in Uyo next month, the 15th of next month. And I want to use this opportunity to invite you into that masterclass. It's really going to be an amazing 4 hours of conversation, very interactive conversation and activities. So if you're at that phase where you are trying to figure out what your purpose is and all of that, then this is that space you want to be in. I know some of us, are still struggling, trying to find out what is our God-given purpose, what has God purposed me to do. And yes, experiences and education, reflections, could push you towards understanding what your life purpose is all about. But then there are ways to jumpstart it. And that is by using certain tools. This is what we are going to be doing in Uyo, because the key thing for growth is you to understand what your purpose is. Once you understand what that is, things will begin to fall into place. You become more intentional in the spaces you go to, become more intentional, the actions you take, and all of that. And it gradually pushes you to the next level. I see you, Iroma. Welcome. Oh, Chiamaka, welcome. Olori Ifedeba, blessing. Nice to have you here. Nice to have you here. So I want to invite you to come in. It's an investment fee of 20,000 naira, and this covers your buffet meals. It covers the tools, the free tools. I'm going to be giving you 3 to 4 tools that are going to help you move forward. And then we're going to be looking at one of the key areas that most women are struggling with currently. That's the area of managing stress, anxiousness, the feeling of overwhelm. How do we deal with it? Some of us are wearing multiple caps at the same time. And we're at that point where we're asking ourselves, is it really worth it? How can I really excel? How can I move forward? I'm tired. It's just too much for me to handle. This is that space where we're going to have very, very real conversations. We'll keep it real. The conversations will be as real as you can imagine. And you can be sure that it's a safe space. I'm always very intentional about creating safe spaces in any of my program. When you come into the space, no judgment, no pressure, and you can just be you without anyone judging you for how you dress, what you say, the questions you ask. Is an all leveler space. It's not a space with any kind of levels. You come into that space and we're all at par. That's the kind of space I love to create. And so you can trust that the She Speaks Masterclass in Uyo is going to be one of that. So if you're interested in coming to that space, this will be the time. You can drop a yes in the chat, and then a member of my team would be in touch with you. Or you can also use the contact us via the number on the screen that we shared initially, and we're going to also put it in the chat box again. You can use that number to reach out to us, and you can go to my wall, my business page, my personal page, the details of how to register for the She Space class in Uyo is all there. I see Fediba saying yes again, yes again. Olori say yes. Okay, so let's see. I think this is the first yes, the yes for the I think this is the yes for the business system. So I'm going to send to you. Let's see now. Um, just hold on. I need to invite you. Just be sure that you are in a place, because you have to speak for yourself and ask the question. So let me ask, are you in a space where you can join in and share, or you want to put it on the chat? So let me know. I'm waiting for you to respond. And I'm giving this to Chiamaka. So we will take Chiamaka. Let's see how much we can do. We'll take Chiamaka first. Then we'll have Ifediba Blessing second. If we have time again, we can take Burola. We can do 5 minutes each, and that gives us 15 minutes. Let's see what we can do with that. Let's be mindful of time. So you can put it in the chat box, and I can read it out, and we run through with it. Or if you want to come on live, you want me to add you on live, you can just put your question in the chat box and destabilize me. Okay, call came in and threw me off. So I'm putting the link here on the chat box so you can. Otherwise, I'm waiting for you to put your comments out there. So either way, this is for you to join in. Um, I have Chiamaka, Ifediba, and Murola. If I see you in the studio, I'll add you on. Otherwise, otherwise, I would just, if you put your question in the chat box, I will read it out and respond. So the clock is ticking. Let's see who goes first. Um, let me see here. I need to. Have you seen the link? If you haven't have you seen the link? If yes, you can come into the studio if you can. Otherwise, just type your question in the chat box and I would read it out. That may be quicker. You can just put your question in the chat box and I'll read it out and attempt to respond to it. So while we're waiting for the three persons I've mentioned to do that, um, um, we have on the chat box as well, we have the number. So 070422911171. Just send a yes to that number if you're interested in registering for the She Speaks masterclass in Uyo. And the number again is 070422911171. You can send a number to that. You can send Oh, I see a lot of newbies here. Doris, welcome in. Stella, welcome in. Nice to see you. Send your yes to 070422911171 if you want to participate in the She Speaks Masterclass Uyo, and we'll send you the registration details, right? I'm still waiting for the three women I called on. Is either you join in using the link I sent in or you put your question in the chat box. And I have access to both devices, so I'm watching out. I haven't seen any question and I haven't seen that. So while waiting for you, let's just go on because of time. Okay, so I was talking about putting in place systems in your business, right? And I said it's very important to have systems. Because why is this important? We talked about it in the first session, the second session, so I wouldn't really want to dwell on that now, but I want to say that you can practically systemize everything, even in your personal life. You can actually systemize how you even prepare your meals. Yes, you can systemize how you prepare your meals. And let me tell you, because something like I said before, that it's so simple, but you know, we you know, the way we overthink it, it makes it look so complicated. For instance, okay, let me give you the instance of my daughter Daisy, her meal. Now, she has a special diet. I had a nutritionist who very willfully offered to do that for free without any cost. So for you, the professional might ask you to pay for it. And then the dietitian now wrote out a menu for her, and that menu was given to my chef, and then he just followed the very explicit directions given by the dietitians to prepare her meals. And then we had conversations when I gave him that, gave him very clear conversations. She doesn't like spicy meals, this, that, no oily meals, follow this clearly and all of that. And then he goes ahead preparing it. I don't need to be called in and out. And for some of you, is even having a food menu in your home to help you create time. Otherwise, every day you're thinking about what meal am I, what are we going to eat in the morning? What are we going to eat in the afternoon? What are we going to eat at night? And that thing can be so I don't know about you, but it's so time consuming because the back and forth trying to get a consensus. So it's not for the wealthy. Having a food menu, a food plan is for everyone. Just make a menu that suits your pockets. That's all. It's a system by itself. So whoever is cooking, if it's your child, if it's your housekeeper, if it's your chef, if you're the one, you just go through and okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. It also helps you in stocking the home because you know, okay, this is what we're going to eat for this week. Do we have enough stock in the house for this? If not, the next thing you can write your list based on the food menu that you have. Otherwise, it helps you to manage funds too in the house. So it's very important. You see, when I keep saying that the level of growth you see in your business is also the level of growth in your personal life. I'm not kidding. When you find someone who is very organized in his or her personal life, you see that also in the business life. You see that organization there. So putting these systems in place helps you. Once you can manage that home front time, you can create more time to do your business. You see, it's everything about us is interlinked. Our personal life, our business life, very interlinked. The same thing with the office. We are coming towards the end of the year. For some of us, we've not started thinking about how we're going to shut down for the year. You will wait until it gets to the end of the year and everybody's running, full, full, full. What do we do? And that's why I said document it. Document the process. So my team will already know what do we do for the end of the year. We get to a cutoff. We know that once it's first week, after first week of December, we don't do travels again. We don't do business travels again. We sit back, we start collating reports, putting everything together. It's a system. We know how it functions. At the beginning of the year, we know the date we're going to close for the year. Some of us do not know, maybe because of kind of business we run. Good and fine. But at least the processes that involve shutting down, you need to tidy it up. So it takes away the pressure from your team members, it takes away the pressure from yourself. Everybody starts planning. knowing that these are the activities we need to do. This is who is responsible for that. If you have outstations, like I do have outstations, if you have outstations, they know when to send in their end of year reports. They know when to send in all the list of assets, everything, so that we can also reconcile and everything. And we shut down joyfully. When you want to open for the year, do your team members know how resumption happens? Or everyone just comes assuming, okay, what do we do? Are we cleaning the office first? How do we clean the office? There's a system for cleaning as well. How do we clean the office? So all of these things are tasks that you could put a system down. What did I say a system is? A sophisticated process. Just have a clear-cut process that everyone in your team knows and have responsibility towards making it, happen, implementing it. And then is one thing to have this system in place, is another thing to implement it on. And that's why, like business plans, some of us spend so much money. We go and call professionals, come and write a business plan for me. They will charge you an arm and a leg to write the business plan. Oh, yeah, no, collect the business plan and execute it for where? It just becomes a mere document with you. You can't do anything with it. Meanwhile, it's supposed to be a tool to help your business to grow. But because you don't know what it's all about, you don't understand it, it just becomes a document with you. And that's why you need to be involved in creating the systems. That's why you need to create your own system, nothing difficult, financial systems, emailing system, and knowing that by this time every week, Monday's newsletter goes out. How do you do the newsletters? On Thursday is read, we write it, we proofread, we do this, we send it out. So all of these things need to be documented, and then roles and responsibilities attached. You do this person, clarity. So it takes away that confusion. You see this back and forth confusion. Oh my goodness. You won't understand how much time it can waste until you're working in a medium-sized team or a big team. You will now know that every minute counts. Every minute counts. When you're the one running the show alone, you wouldn't know how much money you're throwing away by not managing your time appropriately. Because that's one of the things systems helps you to do. Even for you, you know how to take your stock. You know at what level your stock will get low to, you need to take your stock. You're running a business, you're running an imprest or a cash float. You need to know at what level do you get down to 70%, we apply, get it. All these things are things that needs to be documented. Very documented. So it's so simple to do. It's not really difficult, but you just need to be committed to that process. So if you're into buying and selling, for instance, you sell slippers, you sell shoes, and all of those. Now I want to use Olori Wurola as an example because I know Olori Wurola sells sandals, she sells shoes, beautiful ones. I patronize her. That if you haven't checked her out, please go check out Oroli Wurola Ariki Ade's page and you see the amazing things she does there, right? Now, what would she do to make sure she never runs out of stock? Because sometimes your customer is asking you, you're not even sure whether you have the thing or not. How do you receive your stock? Do you document it? The people you buy it from, you need to even know when they run out. So you say, oh, let me check. Oh, they don't have it again. So you need to know all of these things. And it just makes it just a simple process of putting all these things, documenting all these things. When a customer asks, how often do you do your stock taking? At what point do you need to take your stock? At what point do you need to take your stock? Very important. Otherwise, okay, now I see. I would love to put this in the chat. I see Fediba has put something in the chat. Chamaka has put something in the chat. And okay, let me start from first Chiamaka. She says let her type it because of network. So she says this. I'm having a lot of challenges. So let's listen to this. Always says, I'm having a lot of challenges in managing my business. I've been consistent online as well as working on people's orders. What to put in stock since there are a lot of things in this my fashion business. I also have the challenge of saving up in this my business. I love this, a very beautiful question because it's very holistic. It cuts across. So what I hear you say, Tiamaka, is that one, you have the issue of stocking. You also have the issue of saving in your business. These are the two key things I see. Now you don't have a problem being consistent because you're an online vendor and you're consistent online. So this may also relate to some of us who are online vendors. So critical questions here: how would she save for her business, and how would she put in stock? Beautiful question. Now let's have this conversation. It can be challenging to know what to stock when you do diverse things. Chiamaka makes headgear. In fact, she most of my headgears she makes them. I'll ask you to check out her page. Chiamaka wine headgear. She's very good. Now she makes different kinds of headgears with different materials. Now it becomes very difficult to know what to stock. And you know why it's difficult for you to know what to stock, Chiamaka, is probably one of so many things. One of the things I could quickly think of is, are you keeping track of the kind of orders that come in? One, the frequency of the orders that come in. This is very key. This is what would let you know what to stock. For example, when you're preparing for a sales or you're preparing for the end of year sales, you can't really say for certain this is the number of items you're going to sell or the kind of items you're going to sell, because your materials come in diverse forms. But what could help you make an informed decision is by keeping track of what you have been selling over the last couple of months. I hope this is making sense to you. Look at the last 6 months, 8 months, look at it. What kind of orders have come through for you? Which of your orders are, when you sell different things and they do a particular headgear or kind of fabric that people love to buy a lot from. And the only way you know this is if you've been keeping track of the sales that have been coming in, the sales you've been making, the orders that have been coming in. So of course, what you want to do is to make sure you don't run out of those kind of materials. So going into this season, you can say, okay, this is um this is the product or the material that people would readily want me to use to make their headgear, and then you want to stock up on that. And then you would also have what I call your threshold. Like you know, when you go below this level of stock, you want to replenish the level, you want to replenish your stock. So all of this is, you just need to keep track. How do you keep track? I love manual keeping track. I love digital keeping track. It depends on which one works for you. You could take your hardcover notebook and have you rule it, the different materials you use for your different products. So what are the basic materials you use? You need to have, what I would ask you to do is segment your hardcover notepads into the different brand products that you have and the different materials. So the ones that use the same materials, I would recommend keeping them on the same space. The ones that use different materials, you segment them so that it's easy for you to know, looking at how many have you sold, how many did you make, how many got sold, how many orders came in for a particular client. And then you also need to look at the frequency of specific clients. So there are certain persons you would know buy on a monthly basis. Some people are, we all have our styles. Some people are headgear people. They love accessories. Some people are clothes people. Some women are shoes. So know your clients. You can't be in business and expect to grow if you do not know your clients. Chiamak, I hope this is making sense to you. Please put in chat box so I know it's making sense to you. So you need to understand your clients and understand what they like. And that's how you can, start looking at the processes you put in place for stocking. So some of these things I'm talking about now, describing, are some of the ways you would stock your product. Some of the ways you will stock your product. Very important. So, from when we talked about basics of business development, I said you need to know your clients. You need to know what they like. You've been in business for a while, because I know you've been making headgear for me for quite a while. What are the kind of things we like to make? For instance, I'm your client, and you know the kind of things I would like to buy from you, and you know how much time I come back. Maybe I buy once in a month, once in 2 months, once in 3 months. Just look at all the clientels you have. So you need to have a list, a database of all your clients. If you don't, please, I'll ask you to. You need to have where you record everyone that purchases things from you, what they purchase, the amount of stuff they purchase from you, 2 headgears, what kind of headgears, write it out. So when you're planning to stock up, you can look at the frequency of orders you get, and that will tell you what to stock. So you don't go and just buy things randomly and there is no need for it. For instance, if you don't have anybody asking for a particular headgear, why would you want to go and buy the materials? It's going to sit with you. You don't buy things because you want to buy things. You don't buy things because it's cheap. So sometimes we don't, because we go into the market, some things are cheap. You just want to mop it and buy it. Ask yourself, do I have need for it? Would my clients want it? If you're in business, you're driven by the needs of your clients, not by what you want. Some of us buy things or stock things because we like it. Oh, it's nice. I like it. Are you the one going to buy it? Even when you go to buy dresses, you end up buying a lot of dresses your own style, not looking at the styles of your customer. What kind of style do they buy from you? Then coming to savings. Before we even talk of savings, I'll talk about pricing. You can't save if you don't have a pricing strategy. What is your pricing strategy? How do you price your goods? That's one challenge most of us as entrepreneurs have. How do you price your products? How do you price your services? Do you just wake up and fix arbitrary pricing? So one of the key things I would say is look at how much it costs you to buy the materials for that product. Look at how much it will cost you in terms of the time you put into making that product. How much time do you put into making that product? How much would you value that time? How much profit do you want to make to ensure that you can stay in business? Remember that you have overhead costs. So you also need to look at what percentage of your overhead cost are you putting into each of your brand products, because you cannot just put all your overhead cost on one product. You need to spread it evenly. So do you have an offline office as well? Do you pay for your data for coming online, your phone calls, your so many things, the photography, if you take professional, if you call professional photographer to take pictures of your product. So all of these things has to be costed. How much does it cost you in a month to run all of this stuff? And then you look at on an average, how many products do you churn out? So your pricing, there has to be a strategy to how you price. Don't just fix price because OKK is selling 20 naira. You want to sell 20 naira. You don't know the overhead cost and other surrounding costs OKK runs, right? Now, if you can get your pricing strategy right, you now would know how much percent your savings will come from your profit. You cannot save your capital. Because if you're a small or medium-sized business, when you save your capital, it is not earning you any interest though, and it's not doing anything for you. So the money will lose value over time. So one of the ways to multiply your money is to invest. I'm not talking about Ponzi scheme. I'm not talking about all of the stuff. You want to have an investment that grows your money. That's a different conversation altogether. That's a different. That one is a different conversation we need to have. Where do you put your money that ensures that your money grows? Because if you're only turning around costs, what would happen is that you'll be surviving, but you cannot thrive. Your money needs to work for you, and it works for you in investment. So now that savings would come from your profit margin. So how much profit margin do you put? You don't want to spend all your profit margin. You want to be able to take a certain percentage of your profit margin, plug back into the business. Those of you that pay tithe, those of you that want to save, this is where it comes from. So if you're having issues saving, I'll say go back to your pricing strategy. One, go back to your lifestyle, and then go back to how you stock and your sales. Very important. So I hope this has helped you. Okay, I see I'm fully. Thank you so much. Chiamaka, please put it in the chat box. Let me know if this helps, right? She says learning. Beautiful. I saw another question here. I want to try and address all the questions. Okay, Blessing says, I need to hire a skilled person in the computer for my business. How do I go about it? The first thing is, why do you need a skilled person in computer? You know, there is what we call wants needs in business. Now, if you need a skilled person that is IT compliant in your business, it should be as a result of certain things, right? I want you to document what is that. What would having a digital inclined person in your business do for you? Because of course, for you to need that person, it means that it's outside your competence area. Beautiful. I love it when people can outsource what is outside their area of competence, or get a team, somebody to join the team to make sure that you're just doing what you need to do and you're delegating to someone else what is within their area of core competence, right? Now, before you go about hiring that person, what would the person do for your business? How would that impact your business? What will the person do for your business? Write it down. Be very clear. Don't think about it in your head. Take your notepad and your pen. Write it down. On your phone, type it out. Be very clear what the person is going to do for your business. In all the processes that you run, how would this person, support your business with his or her IT skills? Be very clear about it. Very, very clear about it. Now, it is putting all these things that is what you're going to put together and form your job description for the person you're going to hire. And then you now start looking at what kind of qualification do you want from the person. There are different kinds of, so when it's somebody in computer, for me, it's very broad. Is it just, do you want someone that is a beginner? What kind of skill set do you need? Do you need a beginner skill set? Do you need an intermediate skill set? Do you need an advanced skill set in IT? And it depends, like I said, on what the need is within your business. Let the need within your business drive your recruitment need, not sentiments. So you need to be able to look at the different areas of your business where that skills will be applied, and that is what will drive the recruitment of your business, of the skill set into your business. Then once you're clear with all of this, you know the kind of you know what the person will be doing for your business. You already know what kind of skills the person will come in with. Then the next thing I want you to look at is the person's salary. Now, I say this to us as business owners. It is unfair that you employ people to work for you and you're owing them 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. It is totally unacceptable. So before you hire anyone, be sure that you have funds to pay that person 1 year, 6 months. Be very clear where that funds will come out from. Don't go and hire sentimentally. You don't have money to pay people. You can't do that. I see a lot of business owners having people 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. You cannot pay the person. It is so unfair. So the next thing for you to look at is where would the funds to pay this person come out from? And that's where you have to look at all your revenue points. Look at your profit margin. Where are you going to get the funds to pay this person for the next 3 months, 6 months, 1 year? Where are you going to get the funds to pay this person? Do not bank the payment of the person on something that is yet to happen, because that's what I see us do. That would not be fair on anyone you are employing. People work to get paid, and it's your responsibility as a business owner to pay people. What system do you put in place to make sure that you pay people? So Ifediba, I hope that this answers your question. I'm just trying to answer it within the time limit that we have. So I do hope you would bear with me. I'm trying to take all the questions I see here. I saw one from, I saw one from Olori Wurola. What's her question? Aha. So she's saying, Olori is talking about how to convince a customer to buy from me. Now, this convincing a customer to buy from me, this is where all of us as entrepreneurs, this is a need that we have, because you exist in business to sell. And so this speaks to your sales and marketing system. What sales and marketing system do you have as a business? There are different areas in business. If you want to go in business, you're already in business, you need to be clear where your money is going to be coming from, where your customers are going to be coming from. I had a conversation with one of my mentees, a voice note with her. I think it was Alex, when I said you need to be very clear as to where your niche is and who your target customer or audience is, so that you're not in the wrong place selling to the wrong audience. People who cannot afford to buy your services or products, or even if they can afford to buy it, it is not their interest. So you're selling to people who do not have that interest. Now, how do you understand or know your customers? How do you understand or know? This all comes down to system. Periodically, you should be able to do research. If you're in business, you need to invest in research. Research to know the demographics of your target audience. Who are they? Where do they stay? When I mean where do they stay, where do they hang out in? And for some of us, if you're offline, you want to know which area. Because there are certain businesses you locate in certain areas, from the word go is a failure. You know it's not going to work. For those of us that maybe if you have someone selling akara, frying akara, you want to go to a certain area in Lekki to fry akara. You know they're always doing touch. Nobody wants to come out, even if they buy a fried akara by the roadside to eat. They won't want to come out in that place to buy it, because everybody's, is trying to level up. So you need to know before you put a business in certain areas, so that you know that ab initio your business is not going to succeed in that place. So you need to understand the demographics of your clients. You need to know what is their pain area, meaning what is that thing they're looking for a solution. And it has to be something your business provides. Like you, Olori, I know you sell a lot of flexible footwear, which is very good for rainy season. So this should be your season. I got some from you as well, right? So these are some of the things you need to market, because you have very fanciful footwears that one wouldn't even know that they are rubber if they don't look at it. So how do you let us know, and how do you attract those kind of clients? They are fanciful, they are good quality. You need to be convinced in your business first of all before you can convince someone else. And you need to be able to articulate the benefits of using your product. People want to know the benefits. Either, if you can't tell me how this will help my life, why do I want to buy from you? So it could benefit me because it's pocket friendly, it is durable, it is, so you would know what it is and you just put it out. It is fanciful, low budget, I can wear it anywhere and people would not know I'm wearing rubber, like we say it here. You would think it's one high class. There's one footwear I got from you, Olori. It has I don't I, it has this very beautiful fancy design, and then a steel whatever on top of it, gold plated, right? So many people will say, oh, I love this. Where did you get it from? And I say, oh, this is, it's rubber, it's not, And they say, wow, I didn't know. They thought it's this, that. So where do I get it from? So you need to be very clear as to what you're putting out to people, and find out what they like. You go to the market and you say, because it's raining design, you go and buy it. Sometimes you do a profile. What would you like? Oh, help me. Which one do you like? Put 3 designs. What do you like? Which one do you like best? Blah, 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 blah. And people respond, and that gives you an inkling of what they would like to see. So oftentimes, as business owner, one of the challenges that we do things the way we want them to be, forgetting that we're not selling for ourselves. We're not selling to ourselves. You're not going to use your product. So you need to understand the kind of things your customer wants, and then you need to be able to relate it in a language they will understand. It's a whole lot of process to sell or to market your product, and a lot of time there has to be consistency. If, for instance, you're always showing for online vendors, most times you will show things, you don't have them in stock, you're not sure whether it's in stock. And then when I say I want 1, 2, 3, 4, you not tell me it's out of stock, it's out of stock, it's out of stock. So you need to have a system whereby when you put things on, immediately people are asking, do I want 1, 2, 3, 4? Please know when to take it out if it's out of stock. If you're buying from someone, find out, if I need this again, can I get it? In what quantity? You ask, go beyond and ask. So you know that, oh, I can get this in 1 month. After 2 months, it's out of stock. And then this one will come in that will look close to this. And then the person can have an option to say, okay, I want to buy this. But in all, what I'm saying is consistency pays, knowing your product or services pays. I saw a question from Ozioma that says, how do I price for those of us in coaching? This is a very beautiful question to ask. How do I price? Now, it is very dynamic. The coaching industry is very dynamic. And asking how you price is a very good question. Now, I would say, who do you serve? Who is your audience? The kind of audience you serve, what kind of coaching you do, the amount of effort required, the package you offer, all goes into knowing what your pricing strategy would look like. So it's not a one size cap fits all. So there are a number of consideration that needs to be taken into cognizance before you can, as a coach, say, this is how much I would charge. And you need to also, if you run a coaching business where you segment to say, this is my low ticket product, this is my medium ticket product, this is my high ticket product, then that also is another thing. So you need to also know what kind of products you're putting out. So very important, very, very important. Like I said, it's a conversation that needs to happen on itself again, because pricing strategy is something that is very key for entrepreneurs. So one of the key mistakes we make is we just see that everybody is putting certain price, you to put a price. Circumstances vary, one. Where you buy from varies, two. If you're buying wholesale retail, it varies as well. The quantity you buy from also determine how much you would sell. So don't come tell me that Okeke is selling 5 naira while I'm selling 10 naira. You don't know the quantity she or he buys and how what quantity I buy. So all of this goes into the pricing you bring. I remember one of my very close friends, like, there was this organization then that came on board that does customized logo. And then they were doing a promo. I think the logo was like 1K or 1K5 or 2,000. And then I was being charged like 20K to do it. And I was like, I see this organization, they're giving me 1K and you're charging me 20,000. And then he said something to me that I'll never forget. He said, I am not a roadside, um, I'm not, how did he put it? He said, I'm not a roadside business. I am a grounded business that goes beyond just designing logo to giving you other value. That I interpret the logo for you. I make your logo come alive. A whole lot of, and I was like, wow, this makes a whole lot of sense. So what am I trying to say here? In terms of your pricing, you also need to look at the value you're giving out. So you don't just put value arbitrarily and then you're serving fluffy stuff. Like what we are having here tonight. Some coaches will charge you an arm and a leg for you to have this. And it is not wrong. But I'm putting this all out free of charge because for me, it is segmented for me and I'm okay doing this. So do not say tomorrow, this is what Professor Joy tells us free of charge, and someone is charging and say, I won't pay. No, that's wrong. That is totally wrong. Everyone knows the environment they are running their business in. Do not take one business to compare the other business. So that is the same thing with your business. Know the value you're giving. Know the value you're giving to know the value you're offering your clients, and be sure that you can consistently offer that value. Okay, we are coming up to we are over time. I see this is a very hot topic. We are going to continue. This is really a training. Ngozi Ebo says, thank you, Young, for tonight. This is really a training. It's no longer a talk. This is really a training. So we're over time. We're really over time. I'm going to ask you if you're interested to have more of this conversation. Let's come in next week. Next week, Friday, what we're going to do is I'm going to open it up for questions. So I'm not going to do any talking. We come in next week and come with your questions. Come with your questions next week, and I will try as much as possible to address as many questions as you come in with. So come in with your question next week, Friday. And next week, Friday is going to be Q&A session, and we'll try and address all the topic. um I would say, Olivia, please, we're running out of time. Hold this question, come with it next week, Friday. And I promise you to deal with your own question. Your question will be the first one I will deal with. Because I see that yours is the only question I have not taken tonight. So come in with your question next week, Friday, and I will deal with it next week, Friday. So please write out this question and come with it. So I want to know, what was the value of tonight's conversation for you? Put it in the chat box. Let me see. What was the value? What is the value, sorry, of the conversation tonight? I want to know. Let's see the chat box. Let's see the chat box. Kano Blessing says, thank you so much, Ma. Noya says, very hot. Olori says, thanks for the lesson. Holiday says, excellent. Olori says, thanks so much. Um, Chiamaka says, learning a lot tonight. Thank you so much, Prof. Ozioma says, thank you so much, Prof. Ngozi says, thank you, Yom, for tonight's training. Ozioma says, free training from Iyom. Thank you so much. Chiamaka says, thank you so much. Fediba says, wow, that's great. Ozioma says, mega value. Iroma says, I got so much value. Cynthia says, consistency pays. Neka says, thank you so much for this talk. I'm so glad that you learned a lot. Chiamaka says, super B. Honestly, I learned a lot. I'm happy. This is a win for me. Iroma says, excellent, packed. Royale says, honestly, it is quite educative for me. And I say thank you so much for coming on board and for making this very interesting and exciting. This is what I love to do. I love when women, really are out to improve themselves, to improve the business. And I keep saying this, we win together. The sky is so large for all of us to fly without colliding. And we don't need to collide we can all fly and do all that God has proposed us to do. So Iroma says, I regret joining late. God bless you always. Thank you so much. Olori says, thanks for always being there for us, ma. I love you all too. I really do appreciate you. Thank you for joining us tonight. And so my promise next week is come with your questions next week Friday. We're going to make it a Q&A session. I'm excited when I see a lot of women. Really, I get so excited. This is it. This for me is it. This is my passion. This is it. So thank you all for making this very interesting and lively. So come next week Friday with all your questions. And I promised Olivia I'm going to start with hers next week Friday. And we'll try and take as many questions as possible. We're going to have 1 hour question and answer segment. So just come in with any question you have on business, systems, whatever it is on business. We're going to try and do justice to it, God willing. So come in next week. I'm so excited for next week Friday already. Woofs. It's going to be so exciting next week Friday, right? So just come in. Thank you so much. Finally, we come to the end of tonight's show. I would want to keep going on and on and on, but the show has to come to an end tonight. It's already 5 minutes past the hour. And do come in next week Friday. And don't forget to share this. If you know anyone who would benefit from the conversation we had tonight, please do share and let them have watch the replay. You remember saying your see as you the enter eye. Ooh, at the enter eye. Thank you so much. I love you all. You're the best. Ozima says the best tribe in the whole world. Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you for making this space a fun space, a reliable space, a safe space where we come in and we all learn and laugh and learn and laugh. Thank you so much. Remember to find time to rest over the weekend. Have fun. Celebrate yourself. Until I see you next week Friday. I'm excited for Friday already, aren't you? Come prepared for next week Friday. It's going to be our Q&A. In fact, I'm going to call it our business session. So next week Friday is going to be a business session where we're just going to take questions and answer. From when we open to the end, we're going to try and take as many questions as possible. So come prepared, right? Thank you so much. I love you all. I honor you. I celebrate you. And I look forward to seeing you next week Friday. So from me to you is bye for now. Thank you so much to my team. Thank you, Sandra, for the support. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for making this possible. When you're doing all of this, there are people working behind the scene to make this work. So we need to appreciate and thank them. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And don't forget to get registered for the She Speaks Masterclass Uyo. We're going to have some form of this in the She Speaks Masterclass Uyo. You don't want to miss that. So if you're in Uyo or an environment, you want to be in this masterclass. And the number to send a message to if you want to register for the She Speaks Masterclass Uyo is 070-422-91171. 070-422-91171. Send the yes and we'll send registration details. It's just an investment fee of 20,000 naira. See you in Uyo and see you next week as well. So bye for now. See you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. See you next week Friday. Bye for now. Bye. Bye. Oh yeah, it's a Friday.